Could May win the Pokemon League in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? This is one of the new challenges in the new fan game that my friend Kimba is working on exclusively for the channel. Pokemon Challenges is a new downloadable fan game in which you can play and embody various iconic characters from the Pokemon world and face the biggest thematic challenges. In this new challenge, we'll take control of May's anime team to beat HOENN's Elite Four. This is the second challenge of many more that we will face. If you want to watch the other challenges, you have the playlist in the description so you can catch up with everything. This time May takes things more seriously and tries to prove she has all the potential to be a champion. Her team, in my opinion, is very balanced. It consists of Blaziken, Beautifly, Venusaur, Munchlax, Glacian, and Wartortle. Some might think we're missing the Blizzard Skitty that trolled me in the previous challenge, but I'm afraid a Skitty in a Pokemon League would last less than the development of a main Pokemon game. Damn Game Freak. Before we continue, let's remember the rules. They are very simple. I'll use the same number of Pokemon as the rival trainer. I'll have one life during the challenge, which will be consumed when I lose a battle, and will allow me to try to win that battle again. However, it's a single life for the whole challenge, not for each separate battle, so I can only lose one battle. And there's an extra rule that you have to follow, and that is if you want more challenges like this, you have to subscribe and give a like to the video. That being said, let's get started. The first Elite Four member I have to face is none other than Sydney, who uses Dark-type Pokemon. I thought having Blaziken would give me an advantage, but my Tyana's Intimidate put me in check from the start. In addition, my Tyana's Sucker Punch has attack priority and took off a few health points. Blaziken used Sky Uppercut, which left my Tyana with half health, but he didn't want to leave without using Takedown and putting one of my team pillars in trouble. For Sharpedo, which was his second Pokemon, I sent out Venusaur. I thought I had an advantage, but Sharpedo used Crunch and left me with half health. Even so, with Petal Dance I was able to burst it down in one, but being a contact move, Sharpedo's Rough Skin ability got activated and left Venusaur with very little health. His third Pokemon was Shiftry, who finished off Venusaur with Extra Sensory. I sent out Beautifly thinking that with Silver Wind I could knock it down in one hit, and oh what a surprise. Shiftry was also faster than a butterfly that weighs almost the same as a piece of paper. Extra Sensory left us with half health, but thanks to Arceus I managed to weaken it. His next Pokemon was Cacturne, who used Payback. I thought Beautifly couldn't do more than it already did, but no, its fate was greater than that. It resisted like a tank and knocked down Cacturne in one hit, showing that not everything is always as it seems. His last Pokemon was Absol, and it was clear that Beautifly's job was more than done. With a Psycho Cut, it knocked out my unexpected tank Butterfly. I sent out Blaziken, trusting that the battle was already over, but I didn't expect the aerial ace that sent Blaziken to a KFC kitchen. Things were getting complicated as I only had two Pokemon left and Absol would attack first due to its speed. I sent out Wartortle to see if I could do a little damage and thus be able to weaken it with Glacian. When I thought everything was planned, a critical hit from Psycho Cut knocked out our Wartortle without being able to do much. With all hope lost and thinking that the challenge was over with just the first Elite Four, Glacian survived Absol's Psycho Cut like a warrior and thus defeating the first Elite Four, although it cost much more than I would have liked. Let's continue with the next Elite Four challenge, Phoebe, who is an expert in Ghost-type Pokemon. I started the fight with what seemed the most logical decision, sending our Munchlax against her Dusclops. Unfortunately, I could only use Metronome. Dusclops responded with Curse and, after that, in its second turn, it used Confuse Ray. Although my tiny Snorlax was not confused, the Curse continued to wear me down slowly, and Metronome didn't land any useful attack. On the third turn, Dusclops used Future Sight, note that, and when I used the fourth Metronome, Phoebe switched to Banette. Another useless attack and Munchlax said goodbye to this battle. I decided to send Wartortle, thinking that we could hold on a bit with Protect, but Dusclops' Future Sight hit us hard and left us with just 40 HP. A Shadow Ball from Banette took care of knocking it down. I then decided to send Blaziken, who with a Blaze Kick, I thought that at least we would lower Banette's life by half. But a Shadow Ball from Banette did its job. On top of that, Blaziken missed an overheat, and I found myself in trouble again. I thought it could deliver one last blow, but then Blaziken missed his attack and fainted. I found myself in the same situation as with Sydney. I only had Glacian and Venusaur left. and at first glance it seemed impossible. I sent out Venusaur with the intention of doing a bit of damage with Leech Seed, but even that was frustrated when Phoebe's damn doll slipped us a Will-O-Wisp and ruined our strategy. Despite this, we managed to beat it with a Petal Dance. Sableye was her next Pokemon and Venusaur managed to lower its life by more than half with Petal Dance, but in that same turn we became confused by the effects of the attack. I tried to use Petal Dance again, but the confusion did its job and Sableye with Foul Play took Venusaur away from me. Trying to do the same move again as with Sydney, I sent our Glacian to use Ice Shower and try to finish off that Sableye, but it wasn't enough and I had to use Ice Beam, even though Glacian also managed to defeat her Dusclops too. It was very weak already, and Phoebe's second Banette finished him off, and with that, the life I could use in this challenge. With the lesson learned, I tried again the battle with a new strategy. This time I started with Venusaur against its Dusclops and quickly used Leech Seed and Sleep Powder, and both of them hit the target. 2 Petal Dance were enough to weaken her first Pokemon. She sent out Sableye, who used Fake Out, and in that same turn, Venusaur got confused. I decided to send Wartortle, who was more defensive and thus kept Venusaur in good health and would escape its confusion. Sableye almost knocked us down with Foul Play and Shadow Claw, but I was able to land a Surf before Wartortle fell. I sent out Blaziken and, this time, it didn't miss Overheat and finished off Sableye. Her third Pokemon was Banette and I decided to send out Glacian, considering the good results in the previous battle, but a critical hit with Shadow Ball changed my entire strategy and defeated Glacian, though I managed to leave it very weakened. I sent out Blaziken and a Blaze Kick finished the job. Only 2 Pokemon remained, and the first one was her other Banette. I decided to send out Beautifly to try and whittle down its health as much as possible to prepare the ground for our last 2 hopes. The Butterfly wasn't much help this time, but at least it left Banette on the brink of KO and Blaziken finished it off with an Overheat. Her last Pokemon was a huge Dusknoir. I tried to repeat the strategy with Venusaur that I had used with its pre-evolution, but a couple of Petal Dances were enough, and I managed to win this tense battle. The next battle is against Glacia, and I actually had this battle under control with Blaziken. I started with it and her Glalie fell to an Overheat. Her second Pokemon was Frostless and I decided to send out Munchlax and implement my strategy of increasing special defense with Amnesia, as I knew Frostless was a special attacker. When it lowered Munchlax's life, I used Rest. He was an impenetrable wall and, thanks to a bit of luck with Metronome and a lot of resistance, Munchlax finished off Frostless. Her next Pokemon was her second Glalie, who met the same fate as the first one in front of our Blaziken. Although I got scared thinking it had used Freeze Dry, as it had the same animation as Sheer Cold, Glacia sent out her second Frostless and the strategy to follow was the same as before. The problem is that Munchlax didn't achieve its goal because I forgot to use Rest and died between the hail and blizzard. And our Glacian didn't have much luck either when it missed a Shadow Ball due to the hail, although it finally managed to defeat Frostless, remaining with only 10 HP. Her last Pokemon, Walrein, finished off Glacian. I decided to send out Venusaur and this time it did use Sheer Cold, although luckily, Walrein missed. With a critical hit of Petal Dance, Venusaur finished the battle once and for all. The next Elite Four member was Drake, the Dragon-type master. His first Pokemon was Altaria, which didn't miss the opportunity to land a critical hit to Wartortle with Aerial Ace and leave it with less than half of its life. But then, he sent out Flygon, who received an incredible Ice Beam from Wartortle that almost weakened it. I decided it was a good idea to bring out Beautifly, but with an Avalanche, Flygon ended up weakening it. I sent out Venusaur, who enduring an earthquake, finished off Flygon with a Petal Dance. Drake took advantage of this and sent out his second Flygon and with a flamethrower killed Venusaur. I sent out Blaziken, who sadly met the same fate as Venusaur. After such a disappointment, I sent out Wartortle and I was surprised when it managed to survive with 1 HP and defeated Flygon. What a play Wartortle made, and thanks to that, we weakened Altaria with an Icy Wind from Glacian. Too bad his next Pokemon was Kingdra, against which I had nothing left, and it easily defeated Wartortle and later, despite Glacian having several turns to attack, it was left with its life in red and managed to demolish my last Pokemon, thus ending the challenge. Sad because all the effort was not paid, but that's how challenges are. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. I decided to try again even though the challenge was lost. And the truth is that it was going quite well. The problem is that I sent out Munchlax to tank Kingdra until it managed to freeze my tiny Snorlax. That was the verdict for Munchlax, as no matter how much hope I had, it didn't thaw out and Kingdra ended up weakening it. I managed to finish off Kingdra using Venusaur and got to his last Pokemon, Salamence, but being faster than Glacian and Venusaur and both being low on health. It had everything done, so I didn't manage to win. It's a shame, even trying twice. May with her anime team can't win the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire League, even having 3 beasts like Blaziken, Venusaur and Glacian, but don't worry, I won't give up that easily. This and many more challenges will be available on Pokemon Challenges soon, so if you want to get the game and play the challenges yourself, I recommend subscribing because I will be releasing the first version with a lot of different challenges very soon. I want to give a huge thanks to all the subscribers and YouTube members, as you help me keep bringing more and better content. Plus soon I will count on you to choose challenges through polls. If you want to help me, hit the join button and become a member of the channel. With that said, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and on the screen you have more Pokemon challenges in case you want to take a look. See you next week.